Sign Satan and Death, How the Three Relate, written by Kelli Kolev, Part 3, Chapter 1, continued. Failing to honor? People is failing to honor God, because we were all created in the image of God. Sin wants to consume you, and it waits at your door. Jesus did not sin, yet he carried the burden of sin upon himself as if he had sinned all. Human beings are born with the same seed passed down from Adam, but not Jesus Christ. He was conceived by the Holy Spirit, and he did not carry the seed. That is how he was able to go his entire life and not sin. He did not have a sin nature. He became sin so that we might have life through belief in him. So you ask, what is belief in? Jesus. To understand Jesus' sacrifice and his crucifixion, you have to understand sin. Mankind is doomed to sin, and because of this we are spiritually dead. Sin is so disgusting to God that he condemned all of us to die for it, and that is just we deserve to die, and die we will. Spiritual death is something different. Spiritual death comes upon us when we willfully deny Christ as our salvation. Sin is a riddle, a mystery, a reality that eludes definition and comprehension. Perhaps we most often think of sin as wrongdoing or transgression of God's law. Sin includes a failure to do what is right, but also offends people. It is violence and lovelessness toward other people, and ultimately rebellion against God. Further, the Bible teaches that sin involves a condition in which the heart is corrupted and inclined towards evil. The concept of sin is complex, and the terminology large and buried, so that it may be best to look at the reality of sin in the Pentateuch first, then reflect theologically the history of sin in the biblical world. Sin is from its first appearance tragic and mysterious. It is tragic because it represents a fall from the high original status of mankind created in God's image. Adam and Eve are good, but immature, fine but breakable like glass dishes. They are without flaw, yet capable of marring themselves. Satan uses a serpent to tempt Eve and Adam. Verse 2, question God, then to rebuild against him. First, Satan introduces doubt about God's authority and goodness. Did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden? Genesis 3:1. He invites Eve to consider how the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil is good for food and for knowledge. We see the tendency of sin begin with a subtle appeal to something attractive and good in itself, to an act that is somehow possible and directed towards some good end. Throughout the Bible, almost every sin reaches for things with some intrinsic value, such as security, knowledge, peace, pleasure, or a good name. But behind the appeal of something good, sin ultimately involves a raw confrontation. End of part 3.